Good morning, my YouTube viewers. It's Crystal here. I just wanted to do a little code review for you because I haven't done any code reviews in a few days because I've been busy with other things. And so basically what this code review is going to be about, it's going to be about how to identify and visualize and impute missing values in a data set. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use the air quality data set to do this. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to import our libraries of pandas and NumPy. Pandas is a data processing library that creates data frames and series. NumPy is a numerical computation library that creates NumPy arrays. So then what we're going to do is I've got the air quality data set. I found it in a GitHub account. So airq equals pd.read underscore CSV. And then we have the link to the air quality data set. And then we call up airq. So this is your air quality data set. So unnamed 0 is just the index that could be deleted if I wanted to delete it, but I just decided I'm not going to go to the trouble of deleting it right now. Then we have ozone, solar R, wind, temp, month, and day. And we have 152 rows of data, so I'm assuming that's going to be 152 days. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the different ways that you can check for null values in a data set. The first one is airq.isNull, and what that will do is if it's false, it means it's not a null character, and if it's true, it means it is a null character. So this might be suitable for a very small data set because I can't imagine looking through each and every cell to look to see if there's a true. Another way that you can check for null values is airq.isNull brackets.sum brackets, and what that will do is that will tell you which null characters you have in each column, and so that is a little bit more manageable. So you can see here that you've got 37 null values in ozone, and you've got 7 null values in solar R. And then the final way that you can check for null values is to look just in the data set as a whole. So you've got airq.isNull bracket sum. And then it says that you've got 44 null values in that entire data set. So I've shown you 3 ways that you can check for null values. If you just want to know if there are any null values in a data set, then the third way is the best way. If you want to know which null values they have in a column, the second way is the best way. And if you want to know which null values are in every single cell, then the first way is the best way. And now what we're going to do is we're going to visualize the null values using Seaborn's distplot. And I just learned how to do this yesterday, which is why I'm making a video on it. So what we have to do is we have to import our graphics libraries. So we're going to import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT, and we're going to import Seaborn as SNS. And those are your 2 graphics libraries. Seaborn is written on top of matplotlib. So now we're going to call up the distplot function, which is, and it says data equals airq dot isInA brackets dot melt, and value name equals missing, y equals variable, u equals missing, and multiple equals fill, aspect equals 1.25, and then you run that code and you get, it tells you which columns have missing values. So if it's blue, it means it's not missing, and if it's amber, it means it's missing. And so you can see in ozone and solar R that you've got missing values there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to run up a disk plot of what these columns look like that have missing values. So we're looking at ozone. We run up a disk plot on that. So you can see the ozone. And then we run up solar R. So we run up a disk plot on solar R. So you see that ozone is right skewed and solar R is left skewed. Now, there's several ways that you can deal with missing values. I mean, sometimes I just prefer to delete the rows that have the missing values, or delete the columns that have the missing values. And the reason why is because the missing values are not going to add anything meaningful to the data set. But in this particular code review, we're not going to delete the columns that have missing values, and we're not going to delete the rows that have missing values. So what we're going to do is we're going to impute them. So in this instance, I decided to use sklearn's KNN imputer. Now sklearn has an iterative imputer, but when you use the iterative imputer, the only thing that it does is it just gives you the mean. That's what it does. It just gives you the mean. Because we can look over here in sklearn. Let's see if I can find it. Iterative imputer. So it says initial strategy, mean, median, most frequent, and constant. And so the default is mean. And you can set it up for median. You can set it up for most frequent, which is your mode. And you can set it up for constant. So, but the default is mean. But with KNN, it says imputation for missing values using K nearest neighbors. Each sample's missing values are imputed using the mean value from nearest neighbors found in the training set. Two samples are close if the features that neither is missing are close. So it gives you your nearest neighbors, which is 5. And that's your default is 5, but you can set it up for any value that you want. It gives you your weights. It says you can have your weights for a distance, or you can have weights of uniforms. And so you can set your parameters up for K nearest neighbors any way you like. So I decided to use K nearest neighbors, which it will give you the mean in 5. It'll look at 5 different cells away from it, and then it will give you the mean of those 5 different cells. Whereas iterative imputer, you can select what you want, but the mean is the default. And so we get from sklearn.impute import KNN imputer, IMP equals KNN imputer, and you say for call in AirQ call equals IMP.fit transform AirQ call.values.reshape neg1 and so it imputes the values to the mean of 5 cells next to it. So that's what we got. That's how we imputed it. But if you have a lot of data, sometimes the best thing might be to remove the columns or remove the rows where you've got lots of missing data. So it's a personal choice. there's lots of ways that you can impute, and we're just using k-nearest neighbors in this instance. So now what we're doing is we're going to check for null values again. So arq.isNull brackets dot sum brackets dot sum brackets, and we've got no missing values, which is what we wanted to see. So now what we're going to do is we're going to visualize ozone after imputing it. So you can see that we do have a spike, and so that spike is probably the imputation, because that's ozone before imputing it, and this is ozone after imputing it. And now we're going to look at solar R after imputing it, and in solar R you did not have as many missing values as you did ozone. So this is your solar R. Still looks pretty close to what it looked before you imputed it. So that's how you do it. So now what we've done is we've identified the missing values. We've visualized the missing values. We have imputed the missing values. And we've visualized them again after we have imputed them. So that's just something, if you want to get really technical about imputing missing values, this is a pretty technical way. I've showed you how to impute it with sklearn. There are other ways that you can impute missing values without sklearn. So you can just say, like a fill in A. That's just an easy way to do it, and you don't have to have sklearn. But I thought the best way to do it was to use sklearn, because that is Python's machine learning library, and it will go to the nearest neighbor, and it will give you the mean of the nearest neighbor. So I'll go ahead and conclude this video, because we covered everything that we intended to cover. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you to my subscribers for watching my video, and I look forward to making more code reviews for you in the future.